live. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us on our inaugural galactic adventure. My name is Sven, as you well know, and I am going to be your DM for this very special Star Wars 5th edition one-shot adventure, and I'm joined by an absolutely phenomenal crew. Aaron, Grace, Michael, how are you guys? Are you excited for tonight?
Feeling galactic, Sven.
Feeling galactic.
Feeling galactic.
Listen to that. That is the kind of response I expect. Can we get a little bit of the Beastie Boys out of you tonight, Aaron?
Yeah. No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
I was hoping for Intergalactic, but that'll do.
No Sleep Till Vespa.
All right. Stay tuned to the end of the stream where we get a little bit of Beastie Boys, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, out of our very special guest, Aaron.
I might request it from Mark because he's got this rule that if you request it, he has to do it. So.
All right. Okay, Mark. Put it on the playlist on the. What do you call it? Request list on your Twitch channel, and we'll be requesting it all night. Just Beastie Boys all night long. If you
damn it! Someone read my stuff. Yeah, man, I got you.
If you get enough viewers, or enough subscribers, I'll even jump in for a duo. But I'll have to be pretty gosh darn drunk before I do it. Before we dive in for tonight's adventure, I need to say a quick shout out to all of our supporters. You guys know who you are, but I need to say a very special thank you to Dylan and the Townsville Tabletop Guild, who helped me make sense of all the madness that is Star Wars 5th edition. Seriously, like as soon as I announced that I was going to be running this stream, I was like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? Like, I announced it, and then like 10 minutes later, I was like, wow, that was a terrible thing to do. But it was too late. I posted that shit on the internet, and you can't get it back off. But thankfully, I got in touch with the guys at the Townsville Tabletop Guild, rather, and Dylan was gracious enough to jump on and talk me through it. Give me at least a baseline understanding, which is hopefully, going to be enough.
All you need
to make it through. So I don't make an absolute ass of myself tonight in front of all you viewers. So before we get started, who wants to introduce themselves first? I won't make you guys roll for it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a page out of your book, Valiant. Let's roll for it. Roll a d20, and whoever gets the highest score gets to introduce themselves first.
Like it.
Just like the olden days.
Just like the old times.
16.
Maybe we could snap a pool cue in half and have a tryout. No, I'm joking.
All right, steady on, Joker.
Yep. Look, I may have hit the accelerator a bit too fast there. I'm excited, right?
Yeah.
But I got a solid 6.
Solid
those
6.
Rolls out. Get those rolls out.
All right, Grace, what'd you get?
Oh, I did not roll anything. My computer is frozen, and I presently cannot see anything. So we will see.
You've rolled.
There you go. You did roll. You got an 8.
Okay.
All right. Good. We got a 6 and an 8. We're on an incline here. It's getting better. Oh, and Bar Dum Cha also rolled, and he rolled a 16. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Even spread.
That means you go first.
Excellent.
Bar, why don't you introduce yourself? Introduce your character and. I don't know. Tell us what your character's favorite hobby is, apart from
favorite hobby.
Yeah, sure.
Does he? It's pretty much going to be his only hobby. So anyway, Michael playing Bar Dumcha. He is a Sith pureblood guardian from the planet Korriban, and the form that he's taking as part of his guardian class is the Makashi form. He is big, tall, scary, red, tendrils all over his face, just a very intimidating kind of alien. Definitely all about that, trying to gain honor for, I guess, his family and himself to get that, I guess, higher level of being a Sith, where he gets the respect and honor amongst this sort of family and people. So all of his hobbies include either inflicting pain on people in some way or form.
All right. So that's his hobby. So he doesn't play Magic the Gathering on his time off or something like that.
Loves chess.
Loves chess.
Really?
Holo chess, like with the little holographic pieces, where
absolutely.
Chewie will rip your arms off if you don't let him win. Brilliant.
Funnily enough, he's never lost a game because he plays with his lightsaber sitting next to the table.
He just walks up and casually just places it on the table in front of you. Love it. All right, Sally Everett, you're next. You roll an 8, which makes you second in line. Introduce yourself.
Yes. Hey, I will be playing Sally Everett. She is a heiress from a tech mobile company that went to university and studied engineering, and then upsied her way into a life of crime. She doesn't quite even know how it happened, and to be honest, neither do I. It was basically galactic Uber that somehow ended up having her piloting the Reckless. Make of that what you will, but it happened, and now she's got a bounty on her head that is bigger than her net worth, and more people after her than the amount of people invited to her 18th birthday party. So this will be fun.
That is absolutely phenomenal, and I love it. And
yes.
I can't wait to see that play out in real time for all the people at home, for all the millions of people watching right now. And favorite hobby, apart from flying a ship?
Hobby. I think she's like into probably cross-stitching.
Cross-stitching. Okay, brilliant.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, there is some sort of deep down hidden murderous rage, and to poke something thousands of times with a very sharp needle, I feel like just gets out that murderous rage in a very productive, very grandma way. So cross-stitching.
I feel like both of you so far have had a very passive-aggressive approach to your hobbies, and it suits the character so well. I can feel the tension in this ship already as Sally Everett's sitting there with her cross-stitching, just giving you the side eye, just stabbing the needle into this damn thing. And Bardumcha is sitting there with his lightsaber resting on the table, and he's playing holo chess with the captain. You're up next, Aaron. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm Aaron, or Valiant, as many people on the internet know me. I am playing a character by the name of Volt Doran. He is a Lasat operative. If you have seen Star Wars Rebels, a Lasat is the same as Zeb. They're the purple guys with the green eyes. And he is a ruffian. He's a bit of a scoundrel, a scallywag. He's 1 part Han Solo, 2 parts Jack Sparrow, and he's ready for a great time in space. He is the captain of the Reckless, but he doesn't know how to pilot a ship, and he does know how to fix it, though. So this is his baby that he cannot drive. His hobby is borrowing money that he never intends to give back.
His hobby is borrowing money that he never intends to give back.
Indeed.
Sounds like
he's the worst client for a bank loan.
When I was, a young whippersnapper, 18 years old, borrowing money that I never intended to give back. How do we spell your species again? I forget. Is it
Lasat? Yeah, Lasat.
Oh, La. That's where I always get it wrong. S.
Yeah.
Lasat. I always spell it Lasat with an E.
It's like the French way to say that you sat down in past tense.
Lasat. Very good. Love it. Awesome. There you go. That's up on screen for you guys to check out. That is what a Lasat looks like. Well, without further ado, who wants to jump into their imaginations and take it for a little ride around the cosmos, see where it takes us?
Tell me a story, Sven.
I'll tell you a story. No, actually not. I'm going to tell you a part of the story, and then you guys can tell me the rest of it. How's that sound?
Even better. Even better.
It's better because I have to do much less work. Which is why I love tabletop RPGs so much. Look at those camera feeds bouncing around like that. Alright, let's switch scenes.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's alright. It's not your fault. It is our lovely internet's fault. So, Reckless. Also, I should start at the very beginning. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Reckless. Star Wars 5e story. Civil War. It is a time of strife, a time of uncertainty, and a time of opportunity. As the Galactic Empire increases its efforts to crush the rebel uprising, for those seeking to maintain or to remain neutral, it has become increasingly difficult to make an honest living. While the Empire levies exorbitant taxes to fuel its war efforts, the Rebel Alliance turns to underhanded tactics, often contracting civilian freighters to avoid detection. Those who make their living plying their trade amongst the stars must walk a razor's edge. The crew of the Reckless find themselves grounded on the outer rim planet of Tatooine, stranded by an Imperial blockade and quickly running out of credits. Desperation has forced them to take a job offered by a local crime job boss. A local crime job. What is that? What is that shit? Fantastic. Let's switch scenes again.
Can I just say, love the scrolling text.
Yeah, you like that?
Nice touch.
Yes, I put extra effort into tonight's stream, ladies and gentlemen. As you can no doubt see, it's only top of the line for my players.
Hey, look at that. That's Jabba's Palace. I know that place. I've seen it in a movie one time.
Just before we get into the meat and bones of this stream, guys, I don't own any of the art, just so we're all aware. I don't claim to own any of the art. I have no ownership over it. It's other people's artwork. I've left the credits in there for you guys to check out. So don't sue me, please. We open up on a wide shot of a settlement built among the rock and sands of the outer rim planet of Tatooine. Twin suns blaze in the sky and the horizon is warped by the heat. As the camera pans towards the left, we can see a shanty town of grey beige and brown stone buildings, some square and some sporting domed roofs. Alien figures move about the streets, seeking shelter from the heat and dodging hover vehicles that kick up tracks of dust as they go. We continue to pan across, and beyond the town limits of Mos Delga we see a landscape of copper-coloured stone hills. A massive brown fortress dominates the vista, featuring a large tiered dome roof. Silhouetted against the skyline we see 4 or 3 figures picking their way across the rocky landscape, approaching the fortress. Change the scenes, and now we see the town from the opposite perspective, looking down from the rocky hills. The figures in the street barely visible from this vantage point. The captain and his motley crew steps into view. What does he look like?
Okay, so you see Volt, and he is skinnier than a normal Lasat, the race being almost extinct, but prides themselves on their strength and athleticism. He is the exact opposite of that. He is tall, he's slender, he is wearing a yellow poncho that goes across most of his form that covers a lot of his dressings. On his hip you can see a laser blaster. He has purple hair that comes up into a point, and he has a goatee that almost like a soul patch at the bottom of his chin, which is also purple. He has green eyes that seem to be luminescent, and they have these piercing purple irises. You can see as well that he's walking with a little bit of a swagger, almost like he's sort of putting on a strut.
Beautiful. He steps across the view of the camera, and we see the next person in line, which will be Sally. What does Sally Everett look like?
So, you see probably a nice little short blonde just bopping her way over. She's platinum blonde. She's got those piercing green eyes, and she's just sort of keeping pace with everyone else. But since she's got like much shorter legs, she sort of just falling behind a bit, running back up, falling behind a bit, running back up. But she's carrying like quite a lot of gear. She's sort of got her tools like around her hip. And she's just sort of like, jingling as she walks along.
So you fall behind a little bit, and the last member of this party comes stalking past you. I imagine a probably pretty stern look on his face as Bar Dumcha takes his place right behind the captain. And what does he look like? I know we got into it already a little bit, but give us a little bit of flavor text. What do we see?
Bit of flavor. So you look at his face, I get the vibe from Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, with the tendrils coming out of his chin. Just flicking around
death
in the wind. Yeah, exactly. So just tall, red, 6 foot tall, dark red skin, bright red eyes. Sort of facial appendages. He's got a few piercings, all that sort of thing, all over. Definitely, probably a couple of head sort of face tattoos, that sort of thing. Just, I guess, anything that he thinks would make himself look more intimidating, he's gone and gotten done. Dark, like obviously black sort of cloak. From what you call like Matrix style, from shoulder all the way down to pretty much his feet, and just staunch in his walk.
Very edgy. Love it. It's absolutely beautiful. You can see these 3 figures as they pick their way across this uneven sort of rocky trail carved straight into the hills surrounding this town. And you're making your way up to this great domed fortress. Now it looks a little bit like the one you see in the picture, maybe not quite as grand as the one you see there, but it's still massive. You can see these 3 figures as they're overshadowed by this huge circular fortress with a great domed roof. And ahead of you, you can see like a fairly large set of metal double doors with like a diagonal sort of crease right down the middle. Now you guys have come here to take a job from a local warlord, or crime boss, if that's what you want to call it. And her name is Aldra Kasan. Now you guys have been stuck on the planet of Tatooine for a lot longer than you had planned, because the Empire has recently instituted a planet-wide blockade of the city, of the planet rather. No one can come and no one can leave without the Empire giving them the green light. So you're a little bit desperate. Your credits are starting to run out. You need another job. What are you going to do, Captain? What do you do?
I guess I look at the large metal door, and I stand there and I look at my nails, and I look to Sally and I say, "Do you have anything for this? My cuticles are absolutely ruined." No? Okay.
Me? Why would you think I have anything for this?
Your nails always look quite nice. Anyway, but Dumcha, knock on the door. Let's go. We need to see Aldra. She has some credits for us.
Walk up, and then 3 big knocks, just full fist.
Wonderful, forceful. I like it. Setting the tone.
For a moment, there's
very well done, masterful.
No response for like a very uncomfortable, what seems like minutes, but really it's just a few seconds. And then after a while, you can hear the grinding of gears as these iron doors slowly start to part, and dust falls from the doors as they open up. Ahead of you, you can see a very poorly lit hallway. It has a number of doors branching off from it. Some of them open, some of them closed, and you can see a couple of figures somewhere in the distance. 50 feet or so into the building, moving about. I don't pay you any notice, but you do see a give me a second while I relatively refinedly dressed Twi'lek man, shirtless, just dressed from the waist down in like this it's almost like a long dress, as it were, and he approaches you down this dimly lit corridor, and he stands there for a moment before he makes sort of a courtly gesture and a small bow, and waits for you to introduce yourselves.
A man with style. I'm Volt. I'm the captain of the Reckless. I'm here to meet your Lord and Lady Uldra Kasan, and I'll take a very deep and sarcastic bow.
And he bows
When I get up,
once
I'll
again
pick my poncho.
with courtly grace and style. Recognizing that you speak Galactic Common, he says, "Ah, yes, thank you for joining us. You have been expected. And these are your crew?
The one and only?
May I have your names also, before I invite you in to the Ladies' Fortress?"
Stands
Of
there
course.
with nothing.
And Sally sort of steps forward and she puts her hand out and she's like, "Sally, I drive the ship."
And he takes your hand quite graciously and gently, and he actually pulls it towards him and almost just brushes your knuckles with his lips. Just a very light-
Permission.
and-
Permission first. Permission.
Of
Consent.
course.
Sit.
My apologies. While I pride myself in my ability to remember many different social customs, sometimes I do slip up. Please forgive me. He bows to you again, and his weird head tentacles sort of fall down from his shoulders, hanging down low.
It's all good. It happens. It's a big galaxy. And then I sort of turn to Badamsha and I'm like, "And this is our friend, Badamsha. He's the muscle.
He
He's the scary one."
rightens himself up again, and he addresses you, Saliet, and he says, "I thank you very much for your graciousness. Badam Cha," and he puts his hands together in almost like a greeting, like this, sort of clasping his one hand over the other in front of his chest, and he does a curt little nod to you. "You honor us with your presence."
Looks at him and just grunts. Just 'cause
And Mark just let us know that the head tentacles are in fact called Leku. And that's why we keep Mark around, guys. He is our lore master. Thank you for that.
Leku.
Let me take that
Plural
note down.
of Leku. Is it a plural or is it just Leku?
I'm assuming Leku refers to multiple ones, because Leku's just sounds weird.
Okay.
Lecky,
Lekai?
singular, Leklu, plural.
The Lekai? No, that's it's still weird. Still weird. I, of course, am going to just keep
Yeah.
referring to them as weird head tentacles, because I like the sound of that. At that, he motions to all three of you with his hands in a very dramatic gesture. He says, "Please, follow me." And he turns on the spot and starts walking down this dimly lit corridor.
I will turn to Bar and I will say, "Bar, stay behind me. Watch my back. Nothing touches this ass." I keep walking.
Copy.
You're following him in. And he leads you through a series of winding, dimly lit corridors. And as you pass one corridor that branches off towards the right, you can see a Gamorrean step out of the hallway wearing, carrying his big old vibro axe, and he gives you a bit of a snarl rather, as you walk past. But other than
And an
that,
oink to you too.
he just eyeballs you as you walk past, and he steps out into the hallway, gripping his vibro axe in one hand and just glares at your back as you continue down the hall.
Well, he wasn't very nice.
I move myself
That
on the
wasn't very
opposite
good
side of
manners at all.
bar.
Very smart. He leads you through almost a labyrinthine set of tunnels, and as you walk by, you can see more and more what seem to be, workers carrying stuff around. And everybody, roll a perception check for me. Let's get a roll on the table.
No,
We
not
told-
Bar's strong suit.
He's not a looker, eh?
This isn't overly important. I just wanted to get a roll on the table. I want to see. I want to see what kind of luck we're going to be rolling with tonight.
It's a 12.
It's a no from me.
To know. All
That
right.
is 18.
Sally Everett. There we go.
Look at the goods.
With my pluses, I have a 10.
10. All right. That changes nothing. But Sally, I guess as the pilot, you've got to be eagle-eyed. You've got to be able to spot things from very far away, and that's exactly what you are. Well, you notice something strange. You don't see any single female worker. All males. All men. That's it. That's all you notice. You continue to be led through these dusty corridors, and he leads you down a long corridor with a pair of double doors that are wide open at the end of the hallway. And you can hear like an atmospheric bass music, very slow, thum, 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 vum, 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 very bassy. So it's not loud, but it's very bassy, so you can feel it. It's emanating from somewhere beyond that double door. And your host leads you towards the end of the corridor, where he stops. He bows once more, and with both hands makes a universal gesture for, continue on into this room, type of thing.
I will
Well,
continue on in
Men
the room.
first,
Captains first.
age before beauty.
Owner of the ship before pilot of the ship.
Futurama,
Ouch.
snoo vibes.
Our shift. Our ship. We share the ship. Let's clear that up right now. Our ship.
You are attached to the ship because you touch its handlebars every day, but I own the ship. It was given to me by my master. You are here because you are good at what you do. And don't you forget it.
Oh,
Okay.
it's almost like a
But
compliment.
without me, where would you go? You can't drive the ship, but Amshar can't drive the ship. The way I see it is, you sort of need me to own your ship. So, if anything, I'm an extension of the ship. Therefore, my ship.
Bar groans again, just goes, why don't you guys just hold hands and walk through together?
Be quiet. Don't. Fine. I see your point. I guess we need each other. Now can we go and talk to this
teamwork,
woman
cooperation.
so we can get off this dry rock that's doing murder for my skin?
Let's do it.
Now, when
Let's
we go
do
in,
it.
I suggest we assess the situation. Have we talked to this lady before?
No, you've never met this person. You only maybe know about them by rumor. You can see the fortress built upon the hills, overlooking the town where you've been spending your time, Mos Delga. But that's all you know, unless you want to make some kind of roll or a check, I suppose.
I'm probably pretty good. I'm good with not knowing much.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
say to Sally, perhaps you should take the lead because it seems like all of the individuals here, well, they're all looking at you. So I'll take a step back and I'll stand very, very close to Bar just to make sure that he doesn't run away. Definitely not because I'm scared. You do the talking. I'll take notes.
Roll a deception check for me.
Okay. Ooh. So 12 on the dice for a 17.
All right. I guess that's pretty convincing. I'll let you do with that as you wish. Do you step into the chamber? The man sort of is like still bent over at the hips, but he sort of looks up now, like over his brow, at you, like what's going on?
And I mean, he's the captain. I do what the captain tells me. I'll just push the doors open gently and just sort of walk in there, you know, strutting my stuff in the room.
Please, my lady is waiting for you, Captain Vault. Please, if you would be so kind.
Please, just Vault. Just Vault is fine.
Oh, please, Captain. He bows his head again, even lower now.
On second thoughts, I do like the sound of Captain, and I'll walk through.
You get the feeling that he's starting to become a little bit nervous, maybe sweating behind his weird head tentacles. No, Leku, as Mark likes to know. I want to call them weird head tentacles, because it's more fun. You step into a very wide circular chamber, and it's lit by equally spaced lights all along the walls, dimly lit, atmospherically lit. And the lights sort of pulse with this deep bass which is playing. You can see there's a balcony overlooking the chamber, and barely perceptible in the dim light, you can see there's figures moving about on the balcony. On the ground floor, you can see a number of concentric circles built into the stonework, and they're all sort of maybe about a meter wide, and they're all rotating slowly, different speeds, and each one of them in the opposite direction, giving this the appearance of almost like a star chart, as it were. All these different systems spinning around each other. Each one of those circular rotating platform features a different, a male of various different species, all performing various strange, suggestive dances. And in the middle of this chamber, in the middle of these concentric circles, you can see a raised dais. And sitting upon the dais, you can see... one moment while a dusty, red-skinned Zabrak woman. She's sitting upon the throne, and she's holding a long, cylindrical glass filled with like a bubbling, light blue liquid. She smiles, a toothy smile, as you step beyond the precipice. And he says, "Ah, you must be Captain Vault. I've been expecting you. And of course, the famed pilot, Sally Everett. And you must be the muscle. Don't know much about you."
Oh, you will. He goes wherever we go. Very, very close at all times.
Yeah, we're kind of a package deal.
As every crew knows, you need different members to fill different roles, and it's quite obvious which one he fills. I hope that you take your job seriously and keep your captain safe. She says to Ba Damcha.
Ba just looks again. A little grunt. Nothing gets past me.
Yes.
No bullets, no blades. Not even a sly comment gets past him.
I can tell. You seem like a man who carries himself with authority. I like that. But I digress. Time is of the essence. So why not just get straight down to business.
Wonderful.
Now,
I'll click my pen.
I see you've come prepared. I see your reputation precedes you, and you are a man of reputation, aren't you?
So you have heard of me.
Of course. She leans back in her chair for a moment, and she presses a button in the armrest, and a compartment opens up. She reaches into it, and she draws out this almost fist-sized cylindrical, not cylindrical, almost the shape of a Macca's cheeseburger. I don't know what do you call that? You're the school teacher, Aaron. What do you call that?
That
shape?
looks delicious. a sphere?
A sphere?
An ovular sphere.
And yeah, there you go. There you go. That's why I had you on board to correct me. She holds it up. It's like a dull grey metal, and she presses a button on the side, and this holographic projection sort of pops out of it. And you can see very, very clearly, even from this distance, it has an image of your face on it, Volt, and it's accompanied by words, letters. It's difficult to make out in this distance. She says yes.
Can I check to see if it's like a wanted?
Absolutely. You can roll a perception check for me if you
Okay.
if you wish.
All right. That'll be a 10 plus perception is a 1, so 11.
11 in total. That's all right. That's DC 10. It's not too difficult. It's lit up in a dimly lit area. Does anyone else want to have a closer look as well, or are you guys happy to let the captain do the talking?
Chill with him talking.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. You do notice. You know exactly what this is. This is almost like a rap sheet. You can see as she starts scrolling through it, you can see the names of different planets and different systems that you've been to, as well as
that one wasn't my fault, and the hair's all wrong.
Oh.
Just
I'm sure none of this was your doing, of course. She gives you a little wink. And you can see next to the name of planets, you can see, all the minor sort of crimes and stuff that you've done. Why don't you give us a little bit of a description? What would Captain Volt have been wanted for?
probably money laundering, a lot of robbery, assaults, probably. I guess you could say murdering of Imperial officers, destruction of Imperial vehicles, breaking and entering of Imperial blockades, and
Lots of Imperial.
yeah, lots of crimes against the Empire, and let's go with seducing a noble's wife on the casino planet.
There you go. So you got like blockade running, smuggling, break and entering, smuggling contraband, possession of contraband, possession of illegal firearms. It just, impersonating an Imperial officer, and you can see a list of planets. Maybe Vergesso, Manda. You see one planet, Alderaan, and as she's scrolling through it, you can see it disappears. As she continues scrolling through. No, okay, cool. That one didn't land. Adelphi, just different planets that you visited, and that you're wanted for, and you can see a number of credits at each different system. And she looks back towards you and says, "Yes, it looks like you have quite a reputation. You're a man on the run, it seems."
Yes, but no one's caught me yet, so I'm good at what I do.
Not
And
yet.
my crew helps me get it done.
How long before you run out of places to hide?
The galaxy's a big place, and I intend to see every corner of it.
catch up with you eventually.
Not
I think
today.
hearing this, Bar wants to take just a step forward to sort of be parallel with Captain Volt and kind of just an intimidating pose, like as if to say, I don't like the way this is going, you better watch yourself, watch your tone.
From somewhere in the balcony overlooking this circular chamber, you can hear a gun being cocked, almost, even though you don't cock a blaster rifle. You know that dramatic sounds that you hear
Yeah.
when they draw guns on people in movies.
Yeah.
It makes no sense at all. You hear that.
Yep.
And she holds up her hand and she gives a smile. Now, I think you misunderstand my intention. There's no need for violence. I've brought you here not to threaten you. She presses the button on the little circular disc and the holographic projection disappears. She puts it back into the container. She looks back towards the three of you. She says, I brought you here to do a job for me. You see, it's property of mine, well, it's being held, and I want it back. Now, I know that you're quite confident in your skills, but better men than you have tried to outrun the Empire. All of them have failed. No, you need a fresh start, a new beginning, as it were. And she smiles, and she sits back on her chair, and she waves her hand, and a door somewhere in the back of the chamber slides open, and a pair of these Gamorrean guards drag a figure, almost like push him, but he's still walking on his own 2 feet. He has like a black bag over his head, and they push him forward, and one of them roughly yanks the bag off his head, and you're surprised by what you see, because standing in front of you, and even you, Volt, at the very beginning, like for a second, you think you're staring at yourself. Standing in front of you is a Lasat male, a little bit taller than you are, maybe a little bit more heavy built, but he's got the same purple hair, styled exactly the same as yours. He has a same purple soul patch, styled almost identically to yours, and he has those same piercing purple irises. And she looks back towards you, and she says, so what do you say? A new beginning. That's what I can offer you. A fresh start.
He will take my place. Be arrested for all of my crimes.
I see that you're not just words. You live up to your reputation. You're a sharp one.
What is his name?
That's a
Where did you find him?
very good question, and it's one that doesn't really matter. You see, to the Empire, one Lasat is much the same as another, and they're not going to ask any questions if I hand them in a body.
And Sally just sort of like leans into Volt and she's like, this seems a little bit morally ambiguous.
I agree.
Could we perhaps like organize another reward? I just don't know how I feel about, yeah, dead bodies and stuff. It's not really my gig.
How about this?
I think yeah.
We will get your things back. And as payment, you will secure a pathway for us off this godforsaken rock. And we take him with us.
I like it, Picasso.
Bard puts his hand on Volt's shoulder and says, "There is no glory in thinking that everyone knowing that you've been captured."
Precisely. That's exactly what I'm doing this for. My rap sheet is a sense of pride, I guess. And I've actually never, since my planet was ravaged, I haven't seen another Lasat, so I'm doubling down on wanting to talk to this guy.
Well, that's disappointing. I was quite looking forward to taking in this bounty one way. She looks towards you, or the other. But I'm sure we can come to an agreement.
How important are your objects? Because if you want them back, we can get them back. Is that worth more than what my bounty is worth to you? If so, then these terms, well, it should be more than agreeable. Miss Uldra.
Perhaps we can come to another arrangement. I'm willing to entertain your offer for the time being. Retrieve my property, bring it back to me, and we can sit down together and discuss another deal. But for the time being, she turns back towards the other Lestat, whistles, clicks her finger, and the two Gamorreans roughly
Oh, wait,
pull
bring
the
him back.
sack back over his head. And they stop, and she looks towards you.
I'll just yell out to him, the Lasat, and I'll say, "What's your name?"
He tries to call back out to you, but it's muffled by the bag, and it's quite a strange sound.
Oh, no.
I'll look to Uldra and I'll say, "Where did you find him? Tell me. Are there
Well,
more?"
As you can see, I'm a purveyor of curiosities. She
Your reach is long, I'll give you that.
indicates the various members of males from different species who are doing weird dances, and they're still sort of slowly circling around the room, just passing in between you and her every now and then. Very well, I will give you the details of our deal. If you return to me my property, we will sit down and renegotiate the terms. Does
Of course,
sound-
but I'm going to need you to treat our new little buddy with some respect, please.
Of course.
You know.
She turns back towards the Gamorreans and just looks at them, and one of them, they turn towards each other with a bit of, doubtful look in their faces, but one of them pulls the bag back off his head, and they turn to lead him back out of the chamber. And she turns back towards you once they're gone. She says, "Well, now, as I said, some of my property is being kept against my will. It's being held in a place called Rook Station. Perhaps you're familiar with it?
Am I familiar with it?
Roll a history check for me."
Okay. Is anybody else familiar with it, maybe?
Anyone else? wanna roll a
I'm not
Wait a
familiar
second.
with it.
You can.
I can roll a history check.
can roll. This is Dungeons and Dragons, ladies and gentlemen. All you have to do is say, "Can I roll a history check?" And I'll be like, "Absolutely."
That'd be,
Can I roll a
lore
history check?
Yes, Grace, you absolutely may roll a history check. Thanks for asking. Feel free to interject at any point, guys, and be like, "Ooh, what's this? What's that? I wish to do this."
I think Bar's still quietly thinking to himself, "I hope this ends in violence." That was a 12 for me.
Right.
Let's see. There's a 24 on the die. Do I know about this?
I think it is your shit.
Yeah.
So
I hand her the deed and the keys. I just jingle them and drop them in her hand.
Captain Volt, you got a 9. We got a 12 from Bardum Charm. We got a. I didn't see your roll come up on the log there, on the game log. But
Mine?
Grace's roll.
Bar.
Yeah.
Oh, Grace.
Yeah. But I trust you if you
Oh,
say.
that's really weird. I can take a photo.
That's all right. No. If you say that's what you got, that's what you got. This is we're all friends here.
Remember that there, Sally. We might need some rolls later.
Yes, get them all out of the way now. Drop those 20s now when it before combat starts.
Another natural 20. What?
4 in a row? How inconceivable!
Yes. I'm sure. Just don't forget that you're also part of Out of the Abyss, and terrible things can happen to people in the Underdark.
Yeah.
Ooh, threats.
Yeah.
Terrible, horrible things. No, with a 24 on a history check, yes, you're absolutely familiar with Rook Station. With a 12, Bardum Char, maybe you've heard of it, but you haven't been there. But Sally, you've definitely stayed there. Rook Station is it's a way station between sort of like the outer rim and the mid rim. There's a large debris field, which is maybe a couple of light years across. Takes quite a bit of time to circumnavigate. And Rook Station sits right in the middle of it, in the only shipping lane for quite some time. Now, no one knows how long Rook Station has been there for exactly. The oldest stories are, centuries old. But you do know that it's been abandoned and recolonized, and abandoned again and recolonized. And right now, it's quite a popular stop. Because it allows ships to sort of avoid the greater civil conflict that's going on to a greater degree, but they maintain their neutrality in the Civil War. Now, officially, of course, they, as far as the Empire is concerned, they are in Imperial space, but they publicly attempt to maintain their neutrality as much as possible. There's a lot of shipping that goes past there, basically, and it's also a permanent station where people live. Now, as you are no doubt aware, there's an Imperial blockade currently stationed over the planets. She reaches back into the compartment built into her throne. She pulls out what appears to be like a type of data chip of some sort. It's fairly sizable, maybe like 4 inches square. She holds it up. She says, "But I have this. Imperial exemption codes allow free travel for my associates.
Excellent.
I can supply you with the exemption codes for you to retrieve
Can I
my
keep it?
property."
Can I keep it?
Do you say that?
Yeah.
Yes. This
Yeah.
belongs to me, and I want it returned. Now, I know what a man like you might be thinking, and her whole demeanor changes into one that's much more intimidating and severe as she looks straight at you. This will be returned to me, as I've had my mechanics and engineers install a, shall we call it, insurance policy on your ship. Do we have an
my ship?
understanding?
We certainly
Where
do.
did you touch my ship?
Our ship.
Well,
That ship.
because like I said, you have a reputation.
They have a reputation.
The Reckless
They
has
have
a
a
reputation. And you see,
Part of
I
the
have
ship,
a
part of the crew.
reputation also. And you see, reputations are just words. That's why I'm trusting you. Until you get the job done, your reputation will be just words. Just like mine is. And as quick as you can blink, she draws out a blaster and shoots one of the dancers straight in the face.
I will pull my blaster out, just reactionarily.
And the dancer crumbles down to the ground with a gaping wound in his face that's just pouring out smoke, and his body lands almost awkwardly in between two of the rotating panels, and he sort of starts pirouetting on the ground in front of you. And she looks at you and says, "Now you can see that my reputation is more than just words. You have a reputation for being someone who can get jobs done with discretion. Do this job for me and your reputation will be more than just words. Try to run and, well, you'll feel the full extent of what I can do."
Do you have something we want? And we can get something you want.
Yeah.
Well,
Parts.
that sounds like the basis of a beautiful friendship.
Friendship is a strong word. But yes, we have an accord. That's for sure.
Excuse you, Sally.
What did you just totally fired a gun at us?
We have an accord. I make the accords. I don't disagree with what you said, but it has to be my voice. Captain.
As like an old married couple.
I feel like your crew requires a little bit more disciplining. I could verse you in that. When
We have our own hierarchy. How about you
It's not
worry about
really
the
a
internal workings of your
hierarchy.
palace? I'll worry about the ship.
It's more of like a, like a thing where we all just sort of stay on the same level. It's like a democracy, if you will. But not
Definitely
flawed.
a totem pole.
Definitely a democracy.
But we digress. We'll take the job. And the data ship.
Yes.
Now, as I
You
said,
have my word.
time is of the essence. And you see, my property is wanted by, well, multiple parties, namely the Empire, as well as the Rebel Alliance. So I need you to move quickly and move with discretion and bring it back to me before either of them get their hands on it. Do you understand?
Yes, you've picked the right crew because we seem to flow between the realms of the Empire and those rebellious Boy Scouts.
Fantastic. And that's
we
exactly the
leave?
reason why I hired you for this job.
What exactly are we looking for? I mean, it's just sort of useless to send us out into the middle of absolutely nowhere without telling us exactly what we're going on a little search for. If you don't mind divulging that information, of course.
Roll a
Please?
persuasion check if you wish to do so. It's going to be a DC 20.
Okay, let me see. I've actually got a good buff to that. Okay. Oh, no. Nope, that is a 7, 8, 9. That is a 9.
My
I
property
thought it was a 1. I nearly
is
cried.
an object of very, how do we put it? It's political in nature. That's all you need to know.
Is there somebody that we can contact when we arrive at Rook Rook Station in order to point us in the right direction?
My property is being held by Customs and Dispatch. Talk to them there.
Wonderful.
I'm sure they'll point you in the right direction.
And are we free to call it Uldara's property? Or shall we be more discreet?
They know who it's for. You see, they refuse to deliver my property to me because they're cowards.
Cowardice can be a clever course of action, but we do have an accord. If there is nothing else, we will leave you to your soiree.
Very good. And don't forget my insurance policy. She smiles again with her sharpened teeth.
I will turn to leave and walk out if my crew follow me. If they don't, I'll stop at the door and look at them and be like, are you coming?
I'll let you
Yeah,
walk
just
past
sort of
them.
as they leave, I just sort of turn and I'm like, by the way, I respect the whole girl boss thing. Go you, and then I keep walking.
Alright. She sits back in her chair, keeps sipping her weird green bubbly fluid as you guys exit the...
As we're leaving, I'll turn to Bar and Grace and I'll say, have any of you been to this fucking Rook station? And second of all, when we get back to the Reckless, we are searching it from top to bottom because I don't want any unnecessary mechanics on my fucking ship.
Hang on. So, me being the good little player I am, did we not install an anti-boarding system on our ship?
You did install an anti-boarding system on your ship. Why don't we have a look at what an anti-boarding system does?
It's at that point I'll say they shouldn't have been able to get past the anti-boarding system. If they have something... This worries me. We must be quick.
Yeah. I recommend we do a scan of the ship. Have the little brain in our ship do a little bit of a blah, and see what it can find. In terms of the station, I've been there before. It's got a rather nasty little minefield around it. So that'll be fun. Good times. Love myself a little debris field.
Sounds like a
it's
you
also
problem.
sort of like, yeah, it is a me problem, but that's like totally fine. Yeah, it seems like a bit of a transient sort of station where we all just like come and go. But there is that nice little blockade, but we don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm really interested in this chip. I don't know if anyone else is
We'll
also
see
really
if we
interested
can
in the chip.
replicate the codes or fabricate our own version of it, because having something like this would be absolutely priceless. Bar means we could go anywhere we'd like. You can throw that saber of yours across the Dune Sea.
Like the sound of that.
Slice as many people as you can along the way. Oh,
She
by the way,
didn't just say we needed to give it back. She didn't say we couldn't make a copy of it.
She didn't say when. Maybe she did.
Ah. Oh yeah,
like
she
when.
did.
no,
And then she fired a gun at us.
nope, she fired at
I
one
think
of
we
her
need
men.
to give it back. I think we need to give it back, but let's just like do a little bit of copy paste action, Control V. You know.
I like your thinking, Sally.
Control
If
V.
we kill
That's
her,
wonderful.
there's no one to give it back to.
That can be Plan B.
No, Plan K. For kill.
I'd say B for bitch, because that's what she is.
Blaster. Or
Anyway.
Plan P for pew 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 pew.
Next time we're in that room, I'll look around to see if anybody's listening.
Okay. You
And
can,
I'll
you
and
can
it-
roll another perception check if you wish.
Okay, alright. I will do that. I will roll my perception roll. This is with a +1. 18.
18. That's pretty good. At first, you do appear to be on your own, but then you notice like just at the very end of the hallway, and you can see like a very clumsy Gamorrean guard just sort of poke his head around the corner, and they're keeping their eye on you as you're moving through the corridors. Definitely, you're
Okay.
definitely being watched, but at a distance.
Alright, so I'll say, next time we're in that room, and then I'll see him and I'll be like, we'll be absolutely polite and offer her a drink and many, many credits. I'll tell you later. What a wonderful place, and a nice menagerie of men she has dancing for her. Wouldn't you agree, Bar?
Sure.
I think you would make a wonderful addition to our collection.
You know me.
Although
Bit of a dancer.
your muscles are a lot larger than theirs. You may intimidate half of her collection. Anyway, here's the door.
Yes. As you follow you retrace your footsteps, and that same Twi'lek man sort of meets you as you're leaving the main audience chamber, and he silently just guides you back through these labyrinthine tunnels and corridors, and you step back out into the sweltering heat of the Tatooine desert. You pick your way back down the rocky precipice, down back into the outskirts of town. You make your way down the streets. One of the suns has now begun to set behind the surrounding hills, and it casts this purpley orange glow across.
I take a moment to stand on top of the dune with my arms behind my back and just stare at it.
Yeah, so we
whilst the Song of Two Suns plays in the background.
We slide across scenes, and we take in a very dramatic wide shot of Captain Vault sort of standing with one leg perched upon like a small box, and a little rodent thing hops by. Then we cut back to the other two. What are you guys doing? You're heading down sort of now when the suns start to set behind the horizon is when there's most traffic in town, when the temperature dips just a little bit. So there's people, various aliens walking to and fro down the streets. There's a hover vehicle and someone riding what appears to be like a large theropod type thing down the street, and there's a man sort of like an alien sitting at a round table, sucking some smoke from some weird tubular device, and he blows it out as you go by, and you're heading back towards the docking station where you guys first landed when you came here at Mos Delgar. And when you get there, there's a large pair of steel sliding doors, and you punch in your key that was given to you when you got there, and these doors slowly sort of open up, and as they do, it opens up into this wide circular sort of landing pad within this sort of recessed section of the ground. And there's a whole bunch of like crates and ship parts sort of scattered around all over the place. And as the doors open, you can see you can see just a couple of little droids buzzing about and all that kind of stuff. But right in the center of this landing pad stands Reckless, your XS light freighter, painted from one end very poorly all the way to the other in sort of like a matte black color. Bit of a home job. And there's sort of the beginnings of a red racing stripe, almost as if someone started painting a racing stripe on there and someone disagreed, and then sort of stopped halfway, and along the side of the ship is in big sort of orange letters is Reckless.
The E's back to front.
Yes, the E's back to
Yeah.
front. That's canon now.
And Sally just turns to Volt and she's like, "You painted the damn racing stripe back on our ship. I told
Makes
you
it go faster.
specifically not to. It
makes
does
it go
not
faster.
make it go any faster.
It does.
I'm the
It makes it go
engineer.
faster.
I can tell you it does not make it go any faster. In fact, it just compromises the matte black paint I put on the ship to hide us."
Every cool ship ever has racing stripes from nose to tail. I don't know what to tell you,
The
Sally.
Millennium Falcon doesn't have racing stripes.
The Millennium Falcon is a chump ship. This is the better T-16.
Only does the Kessel Run in like 14 parsecs.
14.
We all know he had help.
Look, with a racing stripe, we could do it in 10. But does anybody else have a bad feeling about this? Look at the ship. Does it look any different?
So you're just having a look around, see if there's anything different about the ship. Just a casual.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I want to see if it's like been
touch.
All right.
Yeah.
Roll.
Has anyone touched my drum kit?
Give me a quick investigation. You can see the ship, so now you want to investigate to see if there's anything untoward about the ship.
Yeah. Just like any exposed hatches or things like. Nope. Mm-mm.
Okay, I think my above VT2 is broken. I just rolled another nat 20 for a 22.
No, that's not broken.
Right.
It's
Roll
good.
me a few rolls and see what happens.
Okay.
I got a 13.
13.
Otherwise.
16
Okay.
for bar.
16 for bar.
Yeah, it's broken. I've just rolled 3 nat 20s in a row.
All right. Yeah. No, that can't be. That can't be.
Oh, no, it wasn't broken because I just rolled a 17. I'm just rolling really well. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you just ruined all those rolls. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna see what I get. 18. Look at that. It's just a good night for Dungeons
We're
and
hot.
Dragons.
We're hot. Let's go to the casino.
Okay. I'll take the 22. I'll take the 22, thank you.
Fantasy stars have all aligned, and they're just raining down magical D&D energy on us, and we're just rolling particularly high, except for Captain Vault, of course. So a 22, that's a really good investigation. So you're looking around the outside of the ship, and a 16 is pretty good as well. So you guys, you do a full perimeter search just on the exterior of the ship, and everything looks exactly the way that you left it.
I'll move over to the landing gear and give it the biggest hug, and then I'll give it a little kiss on the landing gear. Just like, I need to leave you, darling. I'll press the little button and
So
the ramp will go down. You couldn't understand this relationship between a man and his machine.
I drive it. Of course I understand.
Pilot.
Yes,
And I
but
just
you
sort of walk
pilot
up the ramp.
it. You might drive it, but she loves me.
And I walk into the I guess the piloting area. And I'm like, having a really good look just to see if anything's been touched.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Sally is as a professional engineer, she liked everything exactly the way she left it. And she would know if something's been flicked or prodded.
All right. So you make your way up the causeway of this ship. It dramatically opens with all the prerequisite steam bellowing as a spaceship needs to have. And you walk up sort of the loading ramp, which leads you into the sort of main cargo bay area. And as you get there, you can see a small, like, spherical droid, almost like the size of a basketball, and it's sort of just like it's just moving about. But you know this droid. This is
It's Modbrew D2.
Modbrew D2. This is your targeting droid. Now, the one thing that you know about that Modbrew D2. At one point, you guys parked the ship somewhere, and when you came back, Modbrew D2 was just on your ship, and it's just sort of never left ever since then. It can't communicate via actual speech, so whenever you talk to it, it replies to you just via simple holographic messages. And it's usually quite sarcastic in its answers. It usually doesn't really want to engage you in conversation. It just wants to sort of get the guns going and blow some shit up. So
Kind of
Okay.
yeah, and
Well, I guess as she walks in, she sort of sees Modbrew D2. She's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And she goes to give it a fist bump.
it
But she really likes it.
turns back towards you, and you can see there's like a little central blue sort of almost like a little screen, like an 8-ball, and then this sort of what is it, like a hologram sort of appears, like projected in front of it, and it projects the words, "Oh great, it's you. You know I don't have hands, right?"
That's my girl.
It's okay, you know what? I'll just do it for you. Fist bump. Gotta catch you. I've gotta check my piloting area. Always nice talking to you. And she just sort of walks away like, yeah, he loves me. He so loves
Modbrew
me.
D2, has there been anybody that has accessed this ship whilst we've been gone?
A little holographic projection appears over it again, and it says, "Haven't really been paying attention. Guess you didn't really employ me to do that. Guess you didn't really employ me at all, now that I think about it."
Well, that is true. We aren't paying you, and I can understand your frustration, but this is kind of pertinent to our survival. So if you could please do a
Your
scan,
guns.
that would be wonderful. Scan yourself. Where did they touch you?
Great.
Show me on this schematic where they touched you.
Because I'm really concerned about your survival. Let me look. I'll roll a perception check for Modbrew D2.
Nat 20, isn't it?
It's a 6. Send to
Awesome.
everyone.
Classic. Thanks, Modbrew.
Yeah. He just doesn't care.
If you want someone to watch over the ship, maybe pay someone.
Thank you for your courtesy and advice, Modbrew D2. I will go to the engine bay, and I will roll in a technology check to see if there is anything tampered with or different throughout the
Absolutely.
ship myself.
Okay. And Sally, you can roll that as well for the cockpit. And while they're doing their checks, what is Bardumcha doing?
He's probably just walking in and sitting down. I think he's had enough of the Volt and Sally's bickering for one day.
Man
His
of
social
many
battery is
words.
depleted.
He's an introvert, okay, and I can highly relate to that. I saw a great little video the other day about introverts. Anyway, I won't get into it because it'll break the flow of the game. But all right, what do we
26
get?
to me. 26.
26 for Vault and a
16.
16. All right, Vault, you head down to the engine room. You have a look around. You pull apart, some of the panels. Some of the maintenance panels. You're looking for something that appears to have been tampered with, and you immediately go for the hyperdrive. You don't really notice anything untowards, but then when you're looking around, you can see like one of the flickering lights because the ship hasn't been maintained as well as it probably should have. You can
Nah,
see
she's
there's
a
like
rust bucket.
a small like scratch on an unassuming panel somewhere like down below the main power coupling, and you get in there and you're like, hey, that scratch wasn't there before. You know this ship like the back of your hand. So you pull open the panel and you open it up, and you can see there's been like a wire that's been spliced in to the main power coupling. You follow it along, and you can see with a if you spend enough time, you follow this wiring along. It's been spliced into the coupling. It's been spliced into the navigations. It's been spliced into the communications array. It's been spliced into the main thrusters. It's been spliced into everything. And it's
I'll just, every time I see a new thing that it's been spliced into, I'll be like,
someone's been extremely thorough, and you can
what have they
tell,
done to you?
like each one of the wires that's been spliced in splits into an even more complex sort of system. But with a 26, you find that there's been like a set of very small like thermal devices built into the ship's like main hull, and they're set to detonate if this ship travels too far away from both Tatooine and Rook Station, or if someone tries to tamper with the system. Now, you could definitely unrig this whole device, but it will take a very long time to do so.
Do we want to roll credits on this adventure now? I think I will notice the futility. The
That's the right
inability
word.
of me. Yeah, the inability of me to undo what has been done by this lady's mechanics of superior skill to me, and I'll just look at the ship and look around and be like, "Ah, darling, they've given you space herpes."
Keanu Reeves in Speed.
Roll a
Yeah,
medicine
I'll-
check.
I'll go along the comlinks and I'll just be like, "This is Captain Volt. Captain Volt communicating through the Reckless.
Yo,
Sally.
yo.
Please use professional terms when communicating on the ship. We are fucked."
Define fucked and also please use professional terms while communicating on the ship.
Fucked is a verb and an adjective. It's definitely adequate in this time. Look, she's got us by the space nuts. She fucked the Reckless. It's in all the systems. Thermal detonators. We have no choice. We have to do this job. We have to go there and back
Wait,
again.
wait,
Hobbit
wait,
scale
wait,
by
wait.
Volt.
Can I have a look at it?
Don't touch anything that you should.
I won't touch it, but I've got this thing that I can actually activate or deactivate any electronic device within range as long as the device is not being wielded by any creature.
I mean, yeah. You can. But I'll tell you what I already told Vault. Yes, you definitely can deactivate. You can unrig this. You can undo this. It's going to take a long time for you to be able to do it with enough care to ensure that you don't detonate any of
Even with magic?
devices. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, like even with magic.
Okay.
I mean,
I will say to her,
Alright.
it's not that I don't doubt your skills, Sally, and I wouldn't let you do it completely unsupervised. I would be here the whole time, but I feel like the best course of action for us to get these devices off of our baby is to get the job done and return post-haste to this Uldara.
Rightio. Okay, well, I guess time to get a move on then.
Yes, I'm very keen to leave this sandpit. And I know that Bar is, well, you see the way his fingers were twitching. We need to get him some
Yeah.
throat slicing, laser stabbing action before he
Yeah.
takes it out on us.
Yeah, that's not going to be great when that happens. So I guess Sally just sort of sits down and inserts that little chippy thing, and is ready for takeoff.
while they're sort of squabbling by Char, and you're just sort of sitting there, Modbrew D2 just sort of floats over towards you, and the words superimpose over the top of it, just mutiny with a question mark.
Like the way you're thinking.
Gives you like a little emoji of a little thumbs up and backs off, back away. And Sally, you take your position in the cockpit. What does Vault do, and what does Bardum Char do?
You can go first.
If we're getting ready for takeoff, I'm gonna go strap in. Get myself in the gunner seat.
You make your way through the corridors, and you step on a tiny little circular sort of lift. You press a couple of keys on a little keypad on the lift, and you rise up into the ceiling of the Reckless, and you step into like this sort of bucket seat. Strap yourself in with like a almost like a racing buckle. Put on a headset, and the guns sort of whir to life. We're looking at it now from the outside of the ship. You can see the quad laser cannon spin one way. You can see Bardum Char sort of sitting inside of it through the whatever it is, like Dura steel glass or whatever it is. so he turns the other way. And yeah, what does
Excellent.
Volt do?
I will check through and say, System Communications, this is Captain Volt. Pilot Sally, are we operational and ready to go?
Of course we are. And just Sally Tippadumcha, I will just let you know, I may have some shooting for you to do.
Fantastic. Drew's at home now, but the bar's at home now. He's excited, so excited that did he pass the droid again on his way?
Yeah, sure.
Excellent. As he walks past the droid, he says, "Audrey, hey, what do you call a droid that takes the long way around?" He says, "R2 detour."
Modbrew D2 doesn't say anything. It just almost with a mechanical look of disappointment
Damn it.
turns back towards the device, and you can see a little arm sort of poke out from the thing into like a socket on the wall and start turning it.
I will say through the communications, and bar are the weapons, all systems go.
Ready and waiting.
Very good.
Split the wigs.
I will make my way over to engineering, and I will move some power cables in order to engage the hyperdrive. And whilst I do that, I will remove my space goggles, and then I'll go and sit down in the co-pilot's seat, I guess you could say. I'll go and sit down in the seat next to
Alright.
Sally.
So you go down to the engineering bay. You move a couple of things around, and then you start walking back towards the cockpit. And the camera sort of follows you like a third-person view over your shoulder as you're walking down towards the cockpit. And when you get to the end of the hallway, sort of the bright light filtering in from the dying sunlight of the Tatooine sun, sort of cast like a lens flare throughout the cockpit. As this camera sort of adjusts, we can see Sally Everett sort of strapped into the pilot seat. She's got a headset on of her own, and she's like flicking switches, and you can hear sort of like these mechanical things start to whir to life, and the ship begins to shudder as you sit down in the co-pilot seat, pull on your headset, buckle yourself in as well, and you can see lights starting to flicker to life in the instruments in front of you as you pull down on like a flight stick. The Reckless starts to lift up from the ground for the very first time on crit and miss, and Volt, you punch in a few buttons on the things in front of you, and the landing gear with like steam sort of pouring out from the landing gear sort of rise up into the main body of the ship, and the ship gently rises up over these domed ceilings of Mos Delga. And you can see the very last rays of sunlight piercing in over the ragged hills that surround the town as you rise up, and then you sort of, Sally, push forward on another flight stick, and the whole ship sort of shudders as it lurches forward and banks before angling upwards and starts heading up into the upper atmosphere of Tatooine. You can see that purple and orange light start to fade as it turns to like this brilliant first like very dark blue and then into a black, and you can see the field of stars in front of you through the viewport of the main cockpit, and you can see, like visually see, like a number of like Star Destroyers and Vindicator like class ships like positioned strategically all around the planet to be able to intercept, and you can see a whole number of like TIE fighter squadrons on your instruments and your on your nav computer. You can Bar Dum Char, the instrument panel in the center of your weapons cluster sort of springs to life, and you can see just dozens of little dots representing all of the TIE fighters that are flying around the planet.
I'll say what I always say to him at this point. I'll just be like, "Bah, easy boy."
Yeah, he's lucky my fingers were getting twitchy.
And I think as I see this, I will sort of kick back on the chair, put my hands behind my head, and put my feet up on the dashboard, and I'll say, we're back, baby. And then I'll start giving the finger to all the Star Destroyers outside. Oh, fuck you, we can go
As
fucking out.
Sally sees him do this, she's like, you can have the ship, but this part of the ship is my part of the ship. So if you don't take your legs off of the dashboard, you're going to be lacking them.
I will take one off slowly, and the second off slowly.
Good.
You can just hear in the back bar say, "Ha!"
Yeah, I heard that from up here. The ship echoes.
And you can see a little light start blinking on your sort of instrument panel. And you know that it's from the communications device.
Ring-a-ding-ding, you're on with the king.
Make it stop.
This is the captain of the Imperial Star Destroyer Rancid. Please power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. You are approaching an Imperial blockade.
Rancid, what a unfortunate name. I suggest you contact your superior officer and apply for a change. Please repeat instructions. Your communication is unclear.
You are approaching an Imperial blockade. Power down your engines immediately and prepare to be boarded.
Well, that simply will not do. See, we are on a Imperial mission. Everything is normal. Situation fine here.
Are you going to shoot it and say, boring conversation anyway?
These are not the droids you're looking for.
What about the chip? What about the
Yeah,
chip?
I'll say to them, we have permission to intercept this blockade. Please find these codes attached, and I'll attach it with the paperclip into the email.
I'm sorry.
Bluetooth.
We got the email, but I think you forgot to attach the codes. Please, could you send it through again?
They have iPhones, so you can airdrop it.
Apologies, I have sent the email without the spoken about attachment. I'll send it through this time. And I send it through. I send through the codes, download the chips. Can I roll a technologies check to do that? Or does it happen?
Yeah, no, I was gonna get you to roll a check of some sort. I wasn't entirely sure which one. What do you think fits there the best? You tell me. What do you want to roll?
I want to roll a
Like deception, persuasion, because we're
I
trying.
was gonna say persuasion because you're not lying.
Yep.
You're
Okay,
sort of
I'll roll
lying, but you're not
perception.
lying.
I'll roll persuasion. So this will be with a +3.
And, you can roll it with advantage as well, since you have the exemption codes with you.
Okay.
Let's go, baby.
So that was a 10. And with...
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god.
On a nat one. Can I roll?
Yeah, where's the...
As there's like radio silence, I'll just look at Sally and I'll be like, it's fine. Everything will be fine. I've got the codes. First time in space. It's very exciting. Nothing can possibly go wrong.
There's just like an uncomfortable silence on the radio before you hear a voice speak up again. Please transpond your IFF codes, power down your shields and weapons, and prepare to be boarded. Failure to comply will result in lethal action.
Sally.
This is just like that time with the Rathtars. You said, don't worry about them. It's fine. And then it was not fine.
It's always
It's
fine
never
until it's not
fine.
fine. It's always... Why don't you
It's
just...
never fine.
Instead of running your mouth, why
Give
don't you
me
run
the
the
phone.
hyperdrive?
Give me the
Run
phone.
the hyperdrive.
Give me the phone.
Let's get the fuck
Give
out of
me
here.
the phone.
Ru-
And I
I'll
just
give her
take the phone out of their
I'll give her
hand.
the phone.
And I'm like, I am so sorry. He has a tendency to be a little bit simple-minded. We all know those kind of men in our lives. Now we do in fact have the codes, and I can send them to you if that's alright. It's just we're in a little bit of a rush. I'm sure you can understand. The Empire has us running lots of little jobs for them. We're quite a quick little ship, and so, we've got lots of stuff to do. Big, busy day. So I hope you don't mind if we just, sneak on through. We do have those codes after all.
Bardumcha, from your position in the gunner's seat, you can see at least 2 squadrons of TIE fighters sort of peel off from the air guard and start to sort of bank in your direction. I'll tell you what, I'll get you, Sally, to roll a deception check, and I'll get you to roll it with advantage as well. But I mean, this is going to be it if this doesn't work.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
17. Did you roll that with advantage?
Yeah, that's with advantage.
17, but 17 is
wait.
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oops, that's my fault. I rolled 2 separate dice. Okay, so that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
So 13 total?
13 total.
13. Alright, well, there's a DC 12, so you just made it.
There you go.
There's another uncomfortable silence for a long period of time. Bardumcha, you're just watching as these 2 squadrons of Imperial starfighters, TIE fighters, sorry, they sort of peel off from the main group and they're heading towards you, and you're watching those little blips, blip, 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 as they're approaching your ship.
Twitchy.
You bring the quad laser cannons around to view them head on, and you can almost see them as the sun light glints off their solar arrays. And after a while, you hear that voice of the captain of the Imperial Star Destroyer Rancid speak up. My apologies. Your codes do seem to check out. They do seem to be older codes, though, so you need to get them updated immediately.
Oh, of course. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Would there be a place where we could get that re-updated? Sorry, my knowledge is a little bit behind. You know how it is.
You need to see your contact on the Tatooine.
Of course. Thank you so much for all your help.
Imperial Star Destroyer Rancid out.
I will take the radio off Sally with a forceful snatch, and I'll say, "Don't try a stunt like that ever again."
But we got through.
And
we got through.
Bardumcha, you see those.
That is 1 for Sally, 0 for.
You see one squadron of those TIE fighters immediately sort of bank and pull off and rejoin the rest of the air guard, and the other one continues towards you, and they just fly right past your ship. You can almost see the pilot of one of the TIE fighters as they right over the top of the Reckless.
Lucky I was about a second away from, so I started blasting.
And I'm assuming you guys start to prepare for a hyperspace travel.
Yes,
100%.
I'll say to Sally in the cockpit as one of the TIE fighters fly by, I was like, "Have you ever noticed that those ships, they sound like they're afraid to be flying?"
I mean, you're not wrong.
Terrible engines. They need an update.
Exactly.
You got jokes. Would you like to hear another one?
Oh dear. Prepare yourselves, everybody. Modbrew D2, lock down all communications. Yes, of course. Please, fire away. Do it now, Modbrew. Lock them down.
And you can see there's a little slider bar appear on Bardumcha's
Microphone
Discord channel, and you see it go,
Maybe for another time then. But then I say, what do you call a droid that uses the toilet? R2 pee poo.
I'll actually like. Okay, that one was a little funny.
You see the slider slide back up again, and you see as Modbrew D2 sort of appears in the doorway of the cockpit behind you, and you look back towards him. You see some letters sort of superimposed over the top of him again, and it says, "Just asking for a friend." What were the self-destruct codes again for the ship? Just asking for a friend.
That's a
When
good
you
one.
find them, Modbrew, let me know. Sally, you've got the helm, right? I'm gonna go make myself a nice ham and cheese.
Space Ham.
And sort of
Spam.
as V
Bam.
leaves, Sally just watches him leave and watches to see as he turns the corner, and out from the bottom of, like, I guess almost like a glove box, she pulls out like a lucky cat that does like the thing, except it's an Ewok. And she sits it on the dash and she's like, he never lets me put this here.
I love it. I love it. Everyone, if you have inspiration in this game, go ahead and give yourself inspiration. You can all have it. So I love your work. You've done
Yay!
fantastic things. You've gotten through that
Joke.
without combat, which is fantastic. Oh, don't worry, it's coming. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
Sally, you start sort of flicking switches in an overhead compartment, and the lights of the Reckless sort of shudder and dim a little bit as power is drawn into the hyperdrive engine. So I won't get you to make rolls or anything like that at the moment because you're sort of free to go. And you grab that flight stick again, you pull it back, push it forward, and sort of the light of the stars in front of you start to stretch out and light up the whole cockpit, and then it sort of wraps around itself and sort of twists into this like blue phase light vortex around you as you slip into hyperspace. And you know it's going to take you a few hours to arrive at Rook Station, because I've just decided that's how long it's going to take. Because I'm the DM, that's what I do, damn it. So if there's anything you want to do now, feel free to do that.
I will go to Bar and I will say, Bar, this is going to take a few hours, so how about we engage in a little game of hide and seek?
I love games so much, but sure.
Yes, indeed. And as a result of that, you hide and I'll seek.
Sounds like a great idea. And then when Volt isn't looking, I just goes to his bed and naps.
I will spend like an hour looking for him before I check his own bed. And when I walk in, I'll be like, you were here all along. You got me again, Var. Goodness me, such a joker. You must have been the king of stealth on Dathomir. My oh my. And
Very nice.
Whether you hear that or not.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, that's all he will do for the trip.
And that little Ewok thing just sits there, and you can see its little paw moving back and forwards, and you can see the paw going faster and faster and faster and faster. And you can see the light of the hyperspace travel sort of start rushing by, almost like it's in like fast forward. And you can see the little cat starts to slow down back to its normal pace, and the light sort of hyperspace travel sort of dims back to like black, and you can see these long streaks of light sort of shrink back to their normal dots, and the humming of the hyperdrive comes to a stop as you approach the orbit of Rook Station. Boom.
Boom.
Reflecting the brilliant blue light of the nearby star is a large space station. You can see multiple platforms that jut out from the central cone-shaped body, giving the station an appearance of like an exposed anthill. There's ships of all shapes and sizes. They're berthed in a myriad of docking bays all around the station. There's automated, transports clattering to and fro on rails to the ships that are docked there, loading and unloading cargo. It's the whole station is just like a hodgepodge of like pieces, almost like it's been like added to and then had parts taken off and then other parts put on. It's just like a bit like your ship, as it were, just sort of held together.
Floating parts
by space duct tape and space bubble, as it were. And you can see there's like a number of like various different sized cargo ships like going to and from the station. And you can see to your space north and your space south, you can see those two lines. They sort of represent the lines to this debris field. And there's a bit of mechanics involved in there as well. Like obviously flying through there is going to be like damaging because it's not like large asteroids. It's more like smaller bits, like a very dense cloud of debris. And obviously, jumping into hyperspace through that is just a death sentence. So you can see to the space east and the space west, two yellow bars. Basically, you get to there and you can. There's like another map that it connects to, essentially. Just so you know that you can continue to fly beyond that sort of region if that becomes necessary. And you can see a pair of like defense like cannon platforms. What are they called? What are they called? I forget what they're called. What are they called in this? The capital ship.
Air to space missiles.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
I forget what they're called, but anyway, they're essentially like capital ship defense platforms. So like very powerful cannons. That's what you see, and you're in orbit over Rookrook Station. What do you want to do?
Ion cannons?
I was actually just about to. I just sort of get on the comms and I'm like, Badamcha, this is Sally speaking. I'd like you to get on the guns for me and I guess stretch that trigger finger of yours, and I guess we can just blast apart some space debris.
By the time you finish saying that, he's already there. Locked and loaded, fingers on the triggers.
And Modbrew D2, I'm gonna need you to get on the guns if you don't mind, please.
Great. More killing, he says. Sort of floats down the hallway over to wherever his station is.
He's got the quad cannon, right?
Yeah, so
you're on.
one of you's on one of the quad cannons, and Modbrew D2 is going to take up the other sort of quad laser cannon.
Sally has the missile launcher.
Sally has the forward-facing missile launcher. So, can you guys see your ship there on the map? I haven't hit it.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So as you can see, it has it's like a facing. So you're just going to have to remember which way your ship is facing, because you can spin it around, as you can see. So keep that in mind if we ever get into like a combat situation. But otherwise, what do you want to do?
I will move myself to the engineering bay, ready to maneuver and divert power when needed. And I will just put my goggles on, strap myself to the safety harness and rail, and just be ready.
This is all me then, I guess. So as I said, I'm just gonna get Badamcha and Modbrew D2 to, I guess, fire at some of the debris, just the ones that I really, really, really can't avoid. but I'm just going to attempt to make my way through it as smoothly as possible, I guess.
Roll a DC. DC 8. What would it be? I guess that would be maneuvering. Check.
Okay.
To make your way through
on the ship?
With the ship. So it'll be a
With the ship.
4, I believe it is, a +4 to that one. So
Okay. And I did mean to ask, how does that work with my expertise in piloting?
all right. I will have to have a quick look at how it works with your expertise. So you have.
You're quite experienced both on land and in air, blah, 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 blah. Oh, never mind. It has absolutely nothing to do with piloting, apparently.
Let's have a look at your
Okay, then.
deployment. So you were the pilot. At
Yeah.
first rank, you gain tactics of your choice. So you'll just have to, at some point, just pick a couple of tactics that you want to have. That's
Yeah.
pretty much, it's just more about, it's more
Okay.
combat focused than anything
Weird.
else.
Okay, well, let's roll that check then, shall we? Awesome. Okay, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Easy. You've done this before. You can see that this is a shipping lane. It's being cleared of most of the debris. It's just manoeuvring around all the other ships in the system, and you're easily able to avoid any collisions. Bar you're not even. You don't even need to fire up the quad laser cannons, as your pilot can easily maneuver through this busy shipping lane, as it were. And you begin to approach the station. Now, just so you guys know, every 5 feet on the map is actually 50 feet. Yeah, so it's times 10. So if you move 60 feet, it's 600 feet, just so you know.
Good.
Yep. Anything else anyone wants to do?
Nope.
I will.
That's it.
We're not in any perceived danger, are we, Sally? I'll say that over comms. Sally, is there a need or requirement to raise shields?
I mean, not for this point in time. I don't really think anyone's gonna fire at us. God, I hope no one's gonna fire at us.
I guess the best thing to do in this situation would be to do like a general scan, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I do a scan?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, do you
On
want
the
to do the
ship?
scan?
Yeah, I'll do the scan. It is through the ship's wisdom, correct?
Yes. So I think you get a +0 to your scanning.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the what we've come up with here.
No, we didn't take sensor boost as one of our techniques for the ship, so it'll be a straight roll. So with a +0.
Look, if you feel like you want to add that onto the ship, I would allow it, just because this is our first time playing and
Yep. Okay, I'll boost the scan with a
foresee everything.
techniques die. So it's a 13 plus 2, which is 15 for a scan.
Okay, let me roll something as well.
I'll roll over to the computer on my rolly chair, spin it around, and then just start clacking away at the keyboard. Bar, please hold. I may have some targets for you. Scanning coming.
Alright.
Approaching Rook Rook Station, and might I just say, it looks like an absolute piece of trash. I don't know what Uldra is keeping at this place, but can't be worth very much, surely.
With your scan, you pick up what appears to be a small, very, very small vessel, like a fighter-sized vessel. It sort of appears to be attempting to maneuver through the debris and through the traffic, sort of avoiding You know, it's sort of trying to like stick very close to other objects so that it doesn't get picked up on scanners. If that makes sense.
Okay. I will communicate to the ship and say, just so everybody is aware, your captain and masterful scanner Volt has picked up a fighter class vessel. Looks like it's hiding from something. Should we hail it or should we let it go on by? It may have something valuable on board.
Can we shoot it?
Can we shoot it? I am the captain and I make those choices. Fuck. Enter private channel. Sally, thoughts?
I mean, I wouldn't. But what would I know? I guess this is on you. I wouldn't recommend it. I would like to get through this as peacefully and quietly as I possibly can. But that's just me, you know.
Perhaps this pilot knows more about Rookbrook Station than we do, having entering it recently. They may know about the Empire's current position. Perhaps we should hail it, offer him some information.
That's a good point.
Let's do so. Why not?
Master of Commands, I will pass all open channels into your expert fields. Sally, take the helm.
Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. And then I just sort of like press the relevant buttons to communicate with the ship. I'm like, hey, what's up?
New ship, who dis?
Yeah.
I'll go on a private chat with Bar and I'll say, as much as I hate to admit it, she's fucking good at what she does.
You'd open with a joke.
You
Perhaps we should.
you sort of you narrow the frequency on where this ship is, and you open up sort of a communications frequency specifically with that ship, and you know, you sort of listen in your earpiece, you say what you have to say, and you just get static in response. Hey guys, it's Sven here, the DM. Unfortunately, due to an error on behalf of Twitch, the audio for this particular section of Reckless has gone missing, so this will be the end of the first half of the stream.